be talking about the upcoming draft tomorrow and the breaking news trade that just took place where Mike Conley went to the Jazz for Grayson Allen, Kyle Korver, Jay Crowder, number 23 pick, and a future first rounder. What are your guys' thoughts on this trade?
I think Memphis definitely won this trade.
I agree with Jonah. I feel like Memphis definitely did not give up nearly as much as Utah did, including obviously Grayson Allen is a good young prospect, and then also their 23rd pick, I'm pretty sure, that they gave up in the first for basically just Mike Conley. And Jay Crowder also is a stud defensive forward, so I think definitely Memphis won the trade.
I think
sorry.
I think even with the addition of Kyle Korver, it's something if they could pair up Jay Crowder and Kyle Korver and they could ship them off and probably get a pick for them in this draft.
Yeah, not only that, Memphis is definitely, almost certainly going to get John Morant. So they're replacing Mike Conley anyway, and they get 3 players and a draft pick. So, I think they definitely won the trade.
The draft being tomorrow, do you think there's going to be any way Zion does not go first overall?
No. 0.
He's going first.
I don't see any other. The only chance he's not going first overall is if some crazy report comes out before the draft. But unless it's Laramie Tunsil again, I don't see that happening.
That or the Pelicans get a crazy trade from a team who really wants him, but
Well, you'd still go first overall, I feel like, even then.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like the Pelicans are basically just set to have they really, if they don't have a godly draft, they just totally screwed themselves over because they're in such a great position right now, and if they don't use it to their advantage, then there's obviously just something going on there that's a big problem.
Yeah, because even if they don't trade up to get Barrett, they're still going to get Culver, even Hunter, Mary Garland. So they're in great position, and maybe have a playoff run this year.
I think there's a possibility that the Pelicans trade up with the Grizzlies to take R.J. Barrett at second with the second pick.
But then the Grizzlies probably wouldn't get Morant at 4 because the Knicks would probably get Morant at 3.
You're right.
I don't see the Knicks taking anyone else but Barrett, to be honest. I feel like it's almost like backstabbing Barrett at that point because Barrett put all of his marbles in the bag for the Knicks, and if the Knicks don't draft him now, then that's gonna be really unfortunate.
Honestly, it's the Knicks. They'll go out and draft some European player with their 3rd pick.
He's technically international. It's another international player, so.
He played.
I know, but
college.
Do you guys see any potential busts in this draft?
I think Darius Garland is going to be a bust.
I don't see Garland necessarily being a bust, because I feel like truly the only reason he didn't have as much hype coming into this draft was the meniscus injury starting out in the year, and that just really obviously hurt his reputation, and he didn't get to ball out in front of everyone like Zion and Barrett and everyone else and Morant. So I feel like he won't necessarily be a bust because usually meniscus injury isn't that bad either. So I feel like he should be fine.
That's why Bol Bol concerns me a little bit because he's a big guy. He's 7'2". He only played like 9 games. And then you get a foot injury, and usually big guys who have injuries don't play that long. So I think he could be a potential bust. We only saw a small sample from him.
I think Cam Reddish's game will not match the NBA that he's shown in college.
Yeah, Cam Reddish is. I totally forgot. He's like a really. I feel like he's just in the shadow of Zion and Barrett. And I almost forgot about him.
For sure, he definitely is.
Yeah.
He averaged. He averaged about 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. He only shot 33% from 3, and that's where you saw him take most of his shots from 3.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna get. He's not a big guy. He's not gonna be a power forward that's gonna thrive in this league.
No, I'd like to see him on his own though, because if he was on a team and he wasn't shadowed by Williamson or Barrett,
he's projected to go 8th to the Hawks.
I don't like like that.
That's a little high. Did you guys see the Bleacher Report list on the 5 potential busts?
I did
They
not.
had Garland on there, Bull. They had Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, and then they had one more player I can't think
I
of.
like DeAndre Hunter because DeAndre Hunter, in my opinion, I didn't see anything too amazing. Like, I've watched some Virginia games, I didn't see any too amazing plays by him, so I could definitely see Hunter being a bust.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Guy looked better in college. I don't think he's going to be a better prospect, but I didn't see that much in Hunter either. But
Who do you think
Yeah.
could be one of the Who do you think could be one of the biggest like sleepers in this draft?
I'm not sure you'd call him a sleeper because he might be top 5, but I really like Culver. I think
Culver.
Cleveland
I
probably
don't
would get him at 5.
I don't think
pretty
I
high
don't
on
think I don't think he's a sleeper.
him. You don't think he's a sleeper? I mean,
No.
he basically led Texas Tech by himself to the Final Four. I know Mooney
Yeah.
had a really good run, but I mean, it was his team.
Yeah.
But to be honest,
like-
once teams started to change how they played on him, he did not play as well anymore. The Texas Tech definitely started to play basically without Culver even out there because he was just getting shut down and doubled in the paint, and he couldn't really do much.
Yeah,
Someone I think could be a sleeper in this draft is Rui Hachimura from Gonzaga.
Oh yeah, he's stud.
Nobody talks about him. He's projected to go. Let's see. He's projected to go 19th to the Spurs. He averaged 20, 27, and 2, and he shot 42% from 3.
Well, yeah, you got all that like popularity and stuff once weren't they the first to beat Duke, and obviously he was the one who carried, and so he got all that popularity and he just died out.
Especially if he does go to someone like the Spurs, I think he could definitely do good under.
I feel like the Spurs with Greg Popovich would be a perfect team for him.
Well, that'd be perfect for him. But he definitely does depend on what team he gets drafted by, because, I mean, like DeAndre Ayton, he got drafted by the Suns, and honestly, I think it kind of hurts his career. I think it kind of depends what team he gets drafted on.
Also, someone I like in this draft that I think is going to translate great to the NBA is Bruno Fernando.
Late second round.
I think he's projected to go 29th to the Spurs.
Oh, really? That high?
Yeah.
I liked him at Maryland.
I think he definitely could be easily a first-round pick.
You said the Spurs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're looking for a big guy, but
I think that'd be great. He'd average a double-double.
Yeah. And if you go on the Spurs, Coach Pop knows how to, because I mean he was a really good player, but he was a little raw, but he could definitely become a real talent in the NBA. Yeah, I would like that pick.
Someone also I think that's going to get drafted for anywhere from about 10 to 30, who I think is going to have a good impact on any team he gets drafted to, is Cameron Johnson from UNC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's projected to go around in the 20 range. I'd like to see him on the Thunder. He would do so great with them.
Yeah, I saw a projection last week. I think it was CBS Sports who had him going into OKC.
Bring it back to you said something about how DeAndre Ayton got drafted to the Suns, and obviously his first year didn't go as planned, but what do you think?
He's still top 3. Rookie.
Yeah, definitely, but at least, what do you think the Suns have to do in this draft? Do you think they have to get a point guard finally?
They have to get a point guard
to get that Lillard like McCollum like combination basically with Booker and someone else.
Yeah,
they need to go after Chris Paul. I think they need to trade their 6th pick or anything to get Chris Paul. They have money. They're not going to be able to sign anyone in free agency. Chris Paul is their best point guard that they're going to be able to get. Once Mike Conley got traded to the Jazz, it leaves them with like Chris Paul, Darius Garland, or Reggie Jackson from the Pistons.
In my opinion, I really like Garland going to the Suns. Also I feel like he's going to possibly get drafted earlier than that, so they might have to trade up, which I don't know if the Suns can do.
I also like Garland going to the Suns too, but if you have an opportunity to go and get Chris Paul, even if he does have this huge contract, you're not paying anyone on your team for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if the Suns traded down and got Edwards? Like trade to like the early 20s?
I don't like that. No. I don't feel like
That-
Edwards is the type of player to fit in with the Suns. Really. I
Yeah,
don't.
he's not. He's a scorer.
Yeah, he's
Edwards-
like
Edwards-
Booker.
Carson Edwards going 30th to the Bucks. That would be great.
That
they
or
they
yeah.
need guards. I think Brogdon's leaving the Bucks.
Brogdon
Yeah,
is
Hill.
probably he's restricted,
Hill.
so they can still like keep him. But Chris Middleton wants out of the Bucks.
No,
George
Hill's probably
Chris
gonna leave.
Middleton wants a 5-year max with the Bucks. If the
Oh, that's
Bucks
what he
don't give it
said.
to him.
Okay.
Yeah, if they don't give it to him, then he's not going to resign with the Bucks, and he's going to get a 4-year max.
And George
Which
Hill's probably gonna
I
leave.
think he's being too picky with that. I don't think he's worth a max contract.
I feel like he's a role player. If you put him
He's-
in the
he's-
right place, he's going to play great. But in a wrong place, he's just not gonna play that
He'd-
well.
He was drafted by the Pistons, traded to the Bucks. I think he would fit in so good with the Pistons.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I was the Pistons, I would be going out trying to get Chris Middleton.
Yeah, we really need a forward and a point guard bad, and I don't really like any of them at 15. Keldon Johnson actually
Yeah.
seems pretty decent from Kentucky. He's probably the last few projections I've seen. To the
Pistons are
at 15.
Pistons are projected to take Romeo Langford.
I don't like that.
I saw that one too. We don't need a shoot.
He's not really even a
We need
shooter.
a point guard or a small forward.
He shot 27% from 3. He's not that great.
Yeah, but we don't need another shooting. I would say he's not really similar to Luke Kennard, but we don't need another bench shooting. We point guard, a small forward. And I just saw the GMs said that he doesn't want a player that's going to start this year. Just a guy that comes off the bench, which to me kind of sounds like a Keldon Johnson player who's going to come off the bench in minutes a game. Probably.
Honestly, I don't even know what the Pistons are even thinking. Who wants to build a team around Reggie Jackson? He's not worth a dime.
Yeah, especially since here I'm pretty confident about that.
Let's talk about the biggest
Yeah,
second round sleepers.
Hmm.
Who do you think is drafted in the second round that could be an impact on the team?
That's a tough one. I just think this draft is not as strong as last year. Like last year, I knew there were players who in the second round would probably be first round players this year.
Yeah,
I
agree
think
with
this
you.
is the first year. This is the first year that the Warriors have to care about the draft.
Yeah.
Because the Warriors, I'm gonna go in the second round. I'm gonna try to get a second round pick, and I'm gonna draft Jordan Poole. They need someone to replace Clay, or at least come off the bench, because they're losing Clay for the season. They're losing Kevin Durant for the season. They're losing Sean Livingston to retirement. Maybe Andre Iguodala. They're losing so much.
I definitely like Jordan Poole in the second round. He is obviously me watching all Michigan games. He is a very clutch shooter, very young, and he would definitely make a good impact, especially like you said in the Warriors.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I'm probably being biased here, but he did seem a little inconsistent, especially later in the year, which worries me a little bit. But around, what are they picking, 58 or something like that? I mean, that's something. I would take him that late.
I don't think he'd be there that late.
Yeah, he might not be. I mean,
There's this power forward in the Euro League named Lucas Samanik. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Mavericks coming off the bench.
yeah.
The Mavericks do a good job translating these European players into the NBA.
Yeah, that would help them a lot.
They love doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Them and the Spurs love doing that. But I think the Mavericks are just maybe one key player away from the playoffs.
I think the Mavericks are going to be a playoff team next year.
Yeah. They still need another player. I think they need another small
I
forward.
feel like the
power forward,
playoff
but-
slate is going to change a ton this offseason with free agency and everything, depending on where Leonard goes and a bunch of players.
Yeah, Leonard's staying though. I don't.
You
see
think
him going
Leonard's staying?
anywhere.
I think Leonard's going to sign a 1-1 and stay with them.
I think he's going to go to Clippers. I don't know. Just looking at all those celebrations and stuff, like you would think at that time he would just be like, I'm signing a 1 year or something like that. But No, he doesn't say anything. He's just sitting there quietly. But I know that's how he acts.
Most players don't. They usually let their teams make their pitches, but after winning a championship with their team, I don't see Kawhi Leonard just leaving.
No, but at the same time, he doesn't really have anything to play for. I mean, he won a trophy at Toronto.
He loves playing with Kyle Lowry. He loves playing with Pascal Siakam. I think he should stay with them. He's a perfect fit. He's a perfect leader for their team. This is the first year ever I think Kawhi Leonard's actually led a team and like being a leader.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I don't even necessarily call him the leader of that team, though. I feel like Lowry played a much more influential part because he's just way too quiet. That's just how he is. It's not really his fault. He's a leader on the court. I'll say that. Like how he plays, like that'll get a team to get out there and play well. But I feel like Kyle Lowry emotionally is a much better leader than him.
I still think he was more vocal than he was when he was on the Spurs, though.
Oh, he definitely is.
Definitely, yeah.
Because when he was on the Spurs, I mean, especially the last year and a half, you could tell he just wanted out. And I don't get that right now when he's with Toronto. I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to sign, like Jones said, a 1-1. I think he's going to stay.
How about Harrison Barnes? Obviously, he's not going to re-sign with Sacramento, so where do you think he's going to end up falling?
I mean, he obviously wants to win a championship or something.
Because he was getting paid a lot of money. So I feel like you could see him. I don't know where he really would fall.
I like Harrison Barnes going back to Golden State. I could see Barnes going to the Bucks.
I feel like you could go to the Bucks if Middleton ends up not getting that.
I think even if Middleton does leave, you put Middleton at the 2 and then put Harrison Barnes at the 3. Giannis at the 4, and then whoever they have at 5.
Yeah, the Bucks are going to be loaded next year again.
I think Harrison Barnes isn't going to go out and sign another $25 million a year contract. He's going to go out and maybe sign like a 10-year just for not a 10-year, a $10 million contract with a team that can contend.
Yeah, he wants to win a championship. But speaking of the Bucks, why don't you think anyone is caring about Giannis winning the MVP?
Because it's too late in the season.
Yeah, it's just too late now. It's like take it back to like let's think. When Rose won it, right? That was like before the playoffs, and everyone was like freaking out. It's a great story. Rose won MVP. Blah 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 blah. But now we're already done. It's just like, the Toronto Raptors won the finals, and oh, by the way, Giannis is the MVP of the season. Like no one really cares anymore.
No, none of these awards matter this year. Is this the first year ever that they've done it after the season was over?
I don't know actually about that. I'll have to look that up.
I don't. It might have been last year too, but I remember when Russell Westbrook won it. It wasn't the end of the year.
They need to do it before the playoffs or do what the NFL does before the championship game. So before the conference before the finals. Yeah.
I've never even heard anything about MVP voting yet.
Yeah, I think it's next Saturday. I could be wrong.
Why would they start it 3 weeks when the season's over?
Yeah, I don't know. I know they have the draft now. I don't think they want that to be at the same time, but do it before.
Yeah, I can't find when I don't know if James Harden won it at the end of last year or during playoffs.
What do you guys think of Julius Randle?
I don't know. I feel like he almost has to re-sign with the Pelicans now since they're gonna be so young and so good. And obviously, he just came off one of the. I think he's just denying the player option to get more money necessarily from the Pelicans due to how well he played. This is his best season that he's ever played in the NBA so far. So I feel like he's just not gonna sign the player option right now, and he's probably gonna re-sign with the Pelicans.
It's also his first healthy season played.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know if he's gonna re-sign with the Pelicans. There's just so much buzz around the Pelicans that they have him playing at the 5. He's only 6'9".
Yeah, wait, if he doesn't resign, where do you think he's going?
I think he's gonna go with the Nets.
I could see
that.
Nets
are getting.
He's also a Dallas native, and he got a tattoo recently that said "coming home." That could mean something.
Yeah,
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Wait, who are the other bigs in New Orleans? Obviously, now that AD's gone, who are the other ones?
Well, Zion. They got Zion.
Well, yeah, I mean, but who's gonna play that 5 role if he leaves?
They don't have one.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
If I'm the Pelicans, I'm going after Al Horford.
That'd be a smart play, yeah.
That is a good leader.
The Celtics are just going down a bad road right now. Everyone's leaving.
I don't know. I don't know if it's particularly a bad road because their starting lineup right now is projected to be like Terry Rozier at the 1, Jalen at the 2, Hayward at the 3, and Jason Tatum at the 4. I think they should trade Hayward.
Terry Rozier, I feel like it's just another Reggie Jackson, though. I feel like he pulls up in the clutch, and then after that, once he gets like actually given a starring role, he's just mediocre.
Oh,
yeah, Rozier's a
but
bench
he's
guy.
also. I'm saying for this year only. He's not getting paid much. He's getting paid like
true.
$5 million off his rookie contract still.
I mean, they're gonna have better team chemistry though.
Yeah, he's definitely not their best player, but it's your best option than going out and signing someone.
Well, I'll say that this
Mike
was the year the
Conley
Celtics should have went
option.
further.
Oh, for sure. Kyrie Irving proved this year that he can't lead a team.
And that's why he's trying to get out of there now, because he knows that.
The Nets are actually like a ridiculous organization if they let D'Lo go for Kyrie Irving, because why would you get rid of your like young star for your rebuild team and sign someone who's just gonna mess up the chemistry of a team who's progressing?
Yeah, I don't get that.
If I'm anyone trying to sign Kyrie Irving, I'm either the Knicks, I'm the Suns, or I'm like the Heat or something.
Lakers.
I'm the Lakers. You're right.
The Lakers are gonna be very interesting in free agency, seeing what they end up doing.
I'd rather have Kyrie go to LA and have D'Lo and Julius Randle go to the Nets, because it'd be D'Lo. They're gonna probably they don't really have a good draft pick. They have like the 29th pick or something, but they got Julius Randle at the 4 and Jared Allen at the 5. And Jared Allen is so underrated.
Yeah, he is. But they need a shooting guard or a small forward.
Oh, they need both of them. They have Rondé Hollis Jefferson, who's a small forward, but he's more of a defensive guy.
Yeah.
The Nets are actually projected to take Matisse Thybulle from Washington, the like defensive stud.
Yeah.
He's chippy. He would be good with the Nets.
Yeah, but they do need a shooter though.
No, for sure. But they have Joe Harris. They could start him.
Yeah, they could. Yeah. What if they get Carson Edwards? Oh, they only have point guard, but
I don't need a point guard.
I mean, I think you could. I wouldn't, but I think you could.
Nets
if you had to play Edwards at shooting guard.
The Nets? Nah, I wouldn't start Carson Edwards. He's not that tall.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'd go out and get.
If you had to.
The Nets should try to draft Tyler Hero if they got anyone.
He's not gonna fall. I don't think.
I don't think he'll necessarily fall, but if they trade up, it would be a good idea.
He's projected to go to the Magic at like 16 or something. Yeah, 16.
The Magic are like the most random team ever. I'm sorry, but they do absolutely nothing. They just are there.
But
they're not going to be good for a few seasons. I don't know why Aaron Gordon re-signed with them.
I don't know how the
jerseys are kind of sweet. What'd you say?
I don't know how they made it to the playoffs last year, honestly.
Actually, you know what? I like Markelle Fultz on their team.
I feel like Markelle Fultz is still going to be one of the biggest busts of the whole entire, 2010 to 2020 time period.
He definitely is a bust right now, bro. He's still so young. He just has to like get healthy for once.
Well, and they messed up right when he came to Philadelphia. Didn't they try and tweak his shot for him or whatever, and then everything just got out of whack?
Markelle Fultz could be one of the biggest, most improved players if he has a solid season.
Yeah, dude, he could score like 8 points per game, and I'd say that's most improved. Like, he has done nothing.
Yeah.
They have the most average team, the Magic, but, I mean, I could see them as a team somehow making the playoffs again. I mean, they're kind of I don't want to say sneaky good, but they're a good average team.
I like them where the Mavericks are at right now. I like them going after a center right now and putting Kristaps Porzingis at the 4. I think he's just so much better at the 4, and they just have a two-man defense down low with Porzingis and whoever they draft at 5. I think they should offer a max contract to Al Horford.
Yeah.
I feel like Al Horford's definitely going to have a bunch of teams knocking on his door, because a lot of teams are looking for a big in this free agency period, because the draft's very shallow in good bigs.
Why does he want a 5-year contract though? I think he's 32 or 33.
He doesn't want a 5-year contract. He wants
I
a
thought I
4-year.
saw
He wants
a
a
four-
4-year. He wants a 4-year, $100 million, which is a bad contract for any team that's going to sign him. He's going to be like
Yeah,
John Wall. He's going to be like John Wall, who's at the end of his career and he just signed this huge contract. It's not smart.
I wouldn't sign him for more than 2 years.
I'd say give him 2 years and then give him like $55 million.
Yeah.
He would fit so good with the Mavericks.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
Like you said, the Pelicans could use him too.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd go to the Pelicans.
No, I don't think so either. You guys think?
I feel like the Pelicans are going to be definitely the most entertaining team. They're basically going to be the equivalent of the Browns this year. I feel like just all that young talent. It's going to be very entertaining to watch.
I actually am looking. I'm going to be rooting for the Pelicans this year. I do see them making the playoffs.
They should make a Hard Knocks for basketball and just send them to the Pels and let's watch it.
I think Lonzo Ball is actually going to like come out of his shell this year.
I feel like that too because he was kind of like I felt like he was LeBron kind of was like you need to shut up and not say anything. I'm here now. Get out of the way. Basically that sort of thing. So
I think Lonzo Ball would thrive with his dad just shutting up.
I know if his dad shut it up, like there would be such. Yeah, I know. Like that hurt his draft stock. I really think because his dad just wouldn't stop talking, and I think there's teams that passed on him because they didn't want the drama.
No, they didn't pass. No, they second overall.
They passed.
Okay.
The only reason the first person didn't take him is because he legit said he's going to the Lakers at that point. That's kind of the same situation Barrett's in right now. He's came out and said I'm only going to the Knicks basically. So the Knicks are at this point where like they're gonna be looked at as an awful team and organization if they pass on him now.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that the Knicks would be looked at as a bad organization. I think they'd be looked at as like. I mean, I think RJ Barrett would be looked at as like an arrogant.
Well, RJ Barrett, I could see how annoyed he'd feel, but then again, I feel like any player who's going in the NBA draft really shouldn't have the right to just be like, yeah, I want to go to this team and that team only.
It's so wrong for anyone to do that. I don't know. I don't even know why they would even say it. It definitely hurts their draft stock because if I'm the Knicks and I pass on him, I don't think he would get picked up right away, but I think actually the Pelicans would take him at 4. But if it was any other team at 4, I think he'd get passed. Where's Kevin Durant going?
KD, I don't know. Is he gonna be able to play this next year? Do we know that?
No, he's out.
He's out for all whole next year. I think he just signs a 1-year deal. Then, well, he just signs the player option with the Warriors.
Yeah,
he's staying on the Warriors for this year.
And then I say after that. He'll probably leave the Warriors and sign a max contract with some team that's.
The Knicks are never going to be good.
I want to say that. I say at some point they have to be decent. They're the Knicks, they're teams like that. They're like the Lakers and the Celtics. People want to go to them because they're prestige, and so I feel like at some point they'll be good.
But when was the last? Like the Knicks, they have been terrible, and they can't get a free agent.
I feel like it was just the Carmelo Anthony curse, really, at the end of the day. The man came and just destroyed the whole organization.
Yeah.
That's the other crazy thing, really, that I didn't really realize. A lot of players who become, like, really good end up being drafted by a different team than they actually play on at first. Like, there's a bunch of players who end up, like, Kawhi I think he got drafted by the Pacers.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And then got traded immediately. Didn't Kobe get drafted by a different team?
He was drafted by the Hornets.
Yeah. The list goes on. It's insane, really.
Eric Bledsoe was drafted to the Thunder.
Do you guys think the Rockets are rebuilding around Harden?
I feel like they're not rebuilding. They're still trying to compete, but they're falling down at this point. I feel like they don't want to rebuild, but they're about have to because of all these problems.
This is their last year to win with Chris Paul.
I feel like Chris Paul is out of there. Yeah, I feel like he's out of there.
I don't know.
That whole situation is super weird because Chris Paul keeps on commenting and tweeting on things showing that it's not true, and then he says stuff that makes it sound like it's true, and then it's really confusing. Especially those men do State Farm commercials together. Like, come on, how are they gonna beef? Come on.
But you could tell on the court that they don't have the chemistry.
Well, yeah, obviously there's a video that came out and they're arguing on the sideline.
Yeah. If I was the Rockets general manager, I would trade Chris Paul just for the fact that they don't play well together, just because of their playing styles. They're both ball dominant.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is a pass first guy, but recently you've seen him be a shoot first guy, and
Yeah.
so is James Harden. So basically, their team is James Harden shooting a step back three, Chris Paul pulling up at a mid range, and James Harden like occasionally throwing a lob to Clint Capella. Like, where else do you see points generated on that offense?
Nowhere.
You
Nowhere.
don't. I mean, yeah. But do you think the reports are true that Chris?
I
that
think
no one
they're
wants
I
Chris
think
Paul?
they're true.
Yeah.
I think Chris Paul is trying to hide it, but I think it definitely happened.
Yeah.
Because have you ever seen the video of just James Harden blatantly slapping Chris Paul?
Yeah, he was trying to fist bump him, and James Harden
Yeah.
just slapped his fist bump. Oh gosh, dude, that's just not good.
If I'm the Rockets GM, like, why would we want someone like James Harden on our team if he's gonna act like that to one
Well,
of our
still,
veteran
then
players?
again, Chris Paul, I feel like also,
Every team he's been on.
yeah, he messes a lot of things up too, and
He's also like a Carmelo Anthony. Goes to a team and it messes him up. And it, like, who else? Jimmy Butler wants to go. They want Jimmy Butler. That would be the worst thing they ever did.
Jimmy Butler's, I don't know, he's like
Chris-
I feel like
Chris
he's
Paul-
another role player, but he hasn't actually been put in a role since like even the Bulls basically to actually be a good player.
Yeah, he's not been that good, but I don't know. But like the Rockets are gonna go after him, probably give him a max contract. But their egos, all three of their egos together, is that such a bad idea?
Yeah, the Rockets need to draft a player who, doesn't really have an ego, just a good, player. He doesn't really talk much. They really need a player like that.
Need a
That'd be
player like
Cameron-
Kawhi Leonard.
That'd be
Yeah, they
Cameron
do.
Johnson.
Yeah.
I think Jared Culver is going to be a better Jimmy Butler. Their playing styles are the same.
Yeah.
What
He
was the
seems-
one? Kobe White. He's like a massive. Like no one's really talking about him.
I think he's going to be a bust.
You do? I feel like he's just a shorter De'Aaron Fox, basically.
He had a one. I mean, he only played at North Carolina for a year.
And no one thought he was gonna be a one and done when he came out of
Yeah,
high
no-
school. Everyone
yeah.
was like, okay, he's not gonna be a one and done. But then he came, and obviously, UNC gave him the ball a bunch, and he was able to use it. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
he's-
believe he was going to be a shooting guard or small forward, and they ended up playing him at point guard. And then he decided to declare for the draft. But yeah, I don't know.
He's projected to go to the Bulls. If
Yeah,
I'm the Bulls,
yeah.
I'm passing on him. There's so much.
that
more
seems like a
potential.
Bulls player, though. Bro. If there's
Yeah,
a
it does.
Bulls player, that's a Bulls player.
It definitely is. But
Yeah.
I think this year the Bulls need to start Denzel Valentine.
Well, he's coming back from injury. He didn't
Yeah,
play.
I know. I think this should be the year he starts though at 3,
Yeah.
or maybe even no. If they played him at the 2 and Levine at the 1, that'd probably be better than Kobe White.
Do you think Chris Dunn's coming off the bench then?
Mm. I think they're gonna trade Chris Dunn.
Yeah.
They openly said that they don't even need Chris Dunn.
What do you think they could get for him?
Not much. Maybe
Yeah.
a first round pick, a second round pick.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a second round pick, maybe
He's not-
2 second round
He
picks.
is- He is such a great player if he's in a backup scenario. Like
Yeah.
he would thrive on a team like OKC. He would be a great even a great starter on the Mavericks. He'd be a great on the Lakers. Just because he's gives tough nosed defense and he's a playmaker. He doesn't look to shoot.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this earlier, but do you guys think this is a weaker draft class than prior years?
I don't know.
Because there's top heavy talent, but the second round,
It's definitely not as good.
I
as
feel like
last
the
year's
first
draft.
5 are better than the average draft class, but then
Yeah.
once you go down,
Yeah.
it just gets
It's
very
just
bad.
not that good. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, if you're picking anywhere from like even like 13 to the later first round, there might not be that many good players.
Yeah,
You guys
I'm,
think-
if I'm a team with a later first round pick, I'm gonna trade my pick.
Yeah.
It's not even worth going out and paying a guy $4 million a year to sit the bench and probably not even make the team.
Do you guys
Yeah.
think Taco Fall ends up actually getting drafted, or
I really want
know the
Taco
Knicks are
Fall to
eyeing
get
him.
drafted. I want
I know
Taco
they-
Fall to get drafted.
I know the Knicks are high him for the second round.
I don't honestly don't think Taco Fall will be good in the NBA. I feel like really
he's literally just tall.
Yeah, that's why I don't feel like he'll be good.
He plays like Bobo did. It's one of those things generations can't you can't compare him. But Bobo did great, except Taco Fall plays a little bit of offense.
How do you feel about do you guys feel like Iggy Brazdeikis is gonna end up getting drafted, or
no, he won't?
He's just gonna fall.
I bet he's gonna go.
I could see late second round.
He should go back to Europe. I don't think he's gonna do anything in the NBA.
And I definitely Charles Matthews. I feel like there's no chance he'll end up getting drafted due to his injury. But
no, but I would sign him. I mean, I know.
I feel like he'll get signed probably, but I don't feel like anyone's gonna necessarily
he's definitely worth getting signed a minimum contract at least.
Yeah.